I'm about to go do my taxes. Let's do a quick shave. It's early in the morning. Haven't gone to bed yet. Fourth and Pine is what I'm going to use today. It is a scent from Declaration Grooming and Chatillon Luxe. Just learned how to pronounce that recently. I avoided it for a while because it had pine in the name, but that's apparently more of an address than a scent descriptor. And it's mostly citrus. Got some lavender, pettigrain. Just about every citrus I know is in there, except for maybe lime, maybe lemon. But I think I remember neroli, bergamot, orange, yuzu. I think yuzu is a citrus. And there's one or two more. So it's pretty crazy. This is the Bison base, which I really enjoy. So let's see how I like this particular scent. This is the 1305 from Semogue. It's been soaking for about an hour, and it's been a really good brush for me. This will probably be its 11th use, and already it's really terrific to use. My Sheraton is the razor of today, and now I use it because I'm using my Nacet. And 132 uses is what we're looking at. And so today will be 133. Gingerly and carefully I open up the little paper envelope. And here's how she's looking. There's the business side that goes down on the razor. That's not something you need to worry about if you're a new shaver. I'm just doing it with this one to kind of prove a point. Here's the top side. Very clean because it's always on the top. It's never has the hairs and stuff scraped on it. All right, get my face wet. There we go. This Bison base loads up really nicely. This is a used puck. Yeah, you can just smell all those citrus elements. And the lavender too. I think that's a nice mix. I'm not a lavender fan when it's by itself. All right, shaking out most of the water. And let's do a 30-second load, and I can start right now. Can't remember if 30 seconds is the right one for this base, but it'll probably be good. Be plenty enough. The Icarus base is the new one from Declaration Grooming. I like it too. I like the Bison a little better. It's kind of butterier, if you will. All right, I'm going to resist the temptation for scooping up this light, airy stuff. I will go ahead and scoop up the thicker stuff inside the bowl. Wash off the bowl here, the tub. And then if you're wondering, how to get that soaked from the threads, I just followed a tip I saw online once. Just kind of run it through your shaving towel. So now it's, I do it now rather than later. It's easier to clean now. And then start working on our lather. Quintero shave bowl. I've been using for a good while now. Really enjoy it. Yeah, that lemon scent. The citruses are just really coming up to me right now. It's just really nice. I'm glad that I stumbled across some post online talking about the scent and how it wasn't pine. A little early lather, just thickening up. This is, since I soaked my brush for a while and I've got hard water, I'm using distilled water for my brush, soaking. I don't want those deposits to mess up my brush. Those mineral deposits and all that are in hard water. Since I'm doing kind of a Boar break-in technique, just the soaking. About an hour to 3 hours before each shave is what I do, and almost all my boars now are at either 10 or 11 uses. And the Semogues just broke in really quickly with this method, within maybe 3 or 4 uses. So with just 1 teaspoon of water added to my load, I have something that looks really nice. It's a little too dry right now, but it's just really attractive looking lather. Slick and kind of creamy in a firm way. Buttery creamy maybe. I like lavender, as long as it's not a dominant scent. I think it's playing nicely with this one. I don't have too many like this. And I believe they recently changed the name of 4th and Pine to 88 Chestnut Street. You know, all of the Chatillon Luxe scents are based off of regional things around the, I think, St. Louis, Missouri area, because that's where the guy is from. Many of those scents are linked to historical figures, inspiration from them, the scents of that region, the flowers and things that kind of come into bloom, the fragrance of the different markets and things like that. It's a neat concept. And so maybe the 4th and Pine was, maybe that name was distracting, sending people away when it didn't need to be, since pine was included in the name, you know. I definitely am not interested in any pine scents. I grew up in a neighborhood where all my trees in my yard were pine. And while that's nice if you've got some throwing stars, it's not great if you like to climb trees. And the limbs that would break off, pine limbs, are just not really fun to, as a kid, to be swords and staffs and things like that. They're kind of weak, and they don't have really good bark like a good hardwood does. All right, let's bring this lather down and kind of show it to you. Might be time to stop. Plenty of it. Let's do a quick finger test. Yeah, nice and slick. I still can feel my fingerprint ridges, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. Otherwise I might make it too thin. Wet my face one more time, just in case this is a little thin mix. Take off all the extra excess droplets. All right, cool lather today. A lot of times I mix for so long that the lather comes to room temperature, and it's just, I don't even feel very cool sensation at all. It's just kind of lukewarm. Dip in the, get a little bit more lather. So as you, oh yeah, Oh man, I'm so glad the scent strength here is something that's available and enjoyable during the shave. Now this brush is being kind of scrubby and massagey and that kind of thing. It's still got a little bit to go in terms of those soft tips. That citrus is really coming up. I don't often have something at the level of maybe 6 or 7 out of 10, but this is it. But it's a nice, pleasant scent. I wouldn't have at first impression, I would not have a problem using this soap scent for quite a while. It's nice. All right. 133 shaves. Here we go. A little bit of blade buffing seems to work well with this blade at this point. And that's, if you're new, that's kind of where you go over the same area a couple of times before you move on. Little shorter strokes. Now that's not because I'm trying to remove all the hair at once in one pass. In general, regarding that, we're talking about gradual reduction. Just discovered something. I was putting on a balm the other day. The area right here is a swirly kind of area, and it comes from here and comes down kind of along my jawline. And so this stroke here, I do this from the bottom to the top, little edging as I come up this way. And especially when I hit right here, that's a really perfect cross grain pass that attacks that area really well. So that worked out nicely. And then my hair growth is this way, but I don't want to do a complete with the grain stroke right there because of the curvature of my neck, concave nature. And so I take on either a tilt, kind of an oblique angle, either coming from the bottom going up this direction or coming from the top and coming down this. And that way it kind of is a 45-degree angle relative to the direction of hair growth. And we're good for the first pass. Comfortable. Little tuggy, slight bit of irritation, but very minimal. All right, let's load up for pass number 2. Looking good. It's a nice comfy brush. It's not as, doesn't seem as soft quite yet as my 2000, but the 2000 has longer bristles. This one has the premium grade bristles, kind of like the 830 brush from Semogue. The 830 is an acrylic, plastic type handle. It's shorter and gets really slippery in your hands when it gets soapy, and so I don't think it's as nice if you're bowl lathering like I do. All right, cross grain now. And this longer handle, when compared to the acrylic handle, has a longer loft with the bristles as well. So it's not exactly the same knot. And it may actually have a slightly larger diameter, but I can't remember. Like by 1 or 2 millimeters. You know, it's not a big deal. So yeah, the blade's not cutting quite as efficiently as it used to. I have to do these buffing type engagements, but I kind of do that anyway. And rinse. All right, kind of a half rinse there. I'm not trying to get all the soap off because after all, I'm about to put on some more. Looks like a nice sheen to the lather. Whether that's important, I don't know. But this will be my third pass easily, and so I've got a little bit of extra left over, and I'm happy about that. I like this scent. This is really nice. I don't have a lot of, you know, of the tart citrus scents, but I think the lavender matures it nicely. Keeps it from being just, and the pettigrain probably, keeps it from being just a pure citrus that might tend to get boring or something. For those of us who are not into pure citrus. I like it okay, it's just not as interesting. And by now, my cheeks have been shaved really well. So just catching a few strays here. Listening and feeling. If I detect any that haven't been cut, if I feel some cutting action, then that's when I know to go back and hit that area again. If you're totally new, I try to give equal use to each side. And the shaving lather kind of helps to do that. As it builds up, it lets me know how many uses I've kind of done on that side. And then before I rinse it out, I'll switch over, use the other side. And then I know that I've kind of got similar wear and use to the blade. There are some razors with a dual comb head, maybe open comb style teeth like this on one side and then a solid bar on the other, which is kind of nice for certain purposes. Maybe on the first pass you might use the open comb to more effectively mow down your growth, especially if you shave maybe every 3 days or something like that. And then once you get that first pass done, maybe flip it around and use the solid bar side for the rest of the shave. And that might have about the same amount of usage because the first usage might be the worst. And so then a couple of passes of the smooth on the solid bar might equal the one pass with the open comb, but just guessing. I'd rather have them both be the same, to be honest. I mean, I like the open combs, but I can do fine with just the solid bar. Even if I was dealing with 3 days of growth, I've just never really had too much of a problem taking that down with a decent razor. And rinse. I know there wasn't any lime in this profile. Maybe there wasn't even any lemon. I think it's mostly a focus on the orange area of the citrus, but not really a sweet orange, more of into the tart area, which I might normally not like quite as much. However, that pettigrain and lavender really come into it. Maybe the yuzu. and come in and smooth it out a little bit instead of having it be quite so tart. So I think I like this, and I'll be keeping this scent around. I believe that I got the lather set just right in terms of hydration. I do have, like I showed you, probably 2 passes left in here, so I didn't need quite that much extra. But that's, the scent is nice, and it's very available during the shave. This brush did well. It is a little slower to develop than the 2000, but those long bristles, that can make all the difference in the world. And I actually don't mind that, because I'm just in like the 11th use of this brush. I don't necessarily need it to be amazingly soft right away, because that might mean it gets too floppy later on. How much water? So we had a 30-second load time and 2.5 teaspoons of distilled water. So if you have hard water, you may want to reduce that water level just a little bit for this lather, or increase the soap, but pick one, and that might help you with your hard water. If I use my tap water, it is hard, and I have to change it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Some soaps are just hard water tolerant. It smells good. What a well-designed idea for a scent, to pick the orange and go ahead and take the bitterness of it. You know, if I was designing a scent like this and I wanted to do orange, I might not think to, if you just take the orange part, put it in a tweak it toward a more tart, undesirable scent, for me at least, but rein it back in and make it more interesting and sophisticated by adding these other elements like the lavender and the pettigrain, and like I was saying. And so you end up with something that lands kind of where I might want it to be. That tartness has been subdued a little bit, and so it's really in a good place. So very well thought out. Really happy with that. And it is lingering a little bit, which is nice. What kind of closeness did we get today? Yeah, I don't see any growth, any length on my hair tips right around this area, trouble spot. Hair lays down really close to the skin, I think, right there. And that area is soft, you know, because there's more, since it's next to the Adam's apple. Adam's apple's got some firmness to it, but this is in that concave area. And so now this same side seems to grow in a more consistent direction, so it gets shaved really well. All right, I'm going to clean up. So some of the tips on this 1305 have split, that's for sure. And some of these outliers are really starting to open up the appearance of the bloom. It's kind of got a dirty look, almost like a bleach blonde, because it's got that dyed stripe of dark color there. I think the company thinks that some people think that's attractive, but who knows? They may just use it to tell the brushes apart. You've got so many that look the same, but I can tell it snaps back after a shave. It snaps back a lot quicker, so it's got more backbone than the 2000. But it's coming along really nicely, and you can definitely see some hairs that are splitting. And he's an enjoyable brush right now, kind of a little bit of a massaging action, not super soft in terms of the tips quite yet, but still very enjoyable, holds plenty of lather. So I'm happy with the way it's coming along, for sure. I'm getting a nice lingering scent on my face even after I've washed and everything away. Very nice. And I think today I'm going to go for a complementing scent instead of trying to find something exact. I know I have one orange aftershave down there, but I think I'm going to go with something maybe a little bit different to see if it can bounce back and forth between these two nicely. You know, I've got some Cade balm, and that's one of the things, that kind of dry, woody cologne type scent I think might go really well with this, but for some reason I just pulled out my whiskey woods instead, so that's what we'll use. I like it. It's not super dominant. It is an alcohol-based splash. Doesn't have a whole lot of nice stuff for your skin. So if you have dry skin or sensitive, you may want to be careful how much alcohol splash you use. If you use it right after a shave and it stirs up irritation, which I know I definitely have some of these that do, I can mitigate that by waiting about an hour after my shave. It seems to let my skin kind of build back up. And then I can put it on and not have any irritation at all. So if you like the alcohol splashes, that's a way to do it if you find it difficult during the time of the shave. So the whiskey woods pretty much dominated over the small scent left over by the soap. I don't think they clash. I can still smell the orangey citrus type thing, but I don't think they're clashing too much. But I don't think it's some revolutionary combo that you might chase after. But it's interesting and nice, and they don't bother each other too much. So there we go. Yeah, I'm all cleaned up. Happy camper. Nice close shave. Zero irritation. Any of that awkwardness from that first pass left very quickly after that pass. Just not a problem. I don't even really see any redness or anything like that. A really close shave on my cheeks, and this is all going without the ability to go against the grain. Shave looks nice. Happy with it. All right. So big thumbs up from me and my nose for the 4th and Pine, or 88 Chestnut Street, depending on when you buy it. Really happy with that. Nice to see the way this little brush is coming along. And I wonder when I'm going to start to really feel the differences between the different Semogue brushes that I've got in this Boarathon cycle. We're all at about either 10 or 11 uses, and I've brought my 2000 up to about the same amount of uses, so it's kind of a fair comparison now with all those. And I'm really looking forward to watching the Omega and the Sterling grow, because they are maturing slower than the Semogues. And in the future, we'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably a good thing. All right. Well, hey, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope there was something here that helps you out. You take care. Good night.